Wow. All right. Hey, as we begin, Pre-Cal 12, this is Coach Jay coming to you. Those that follow me from Sweden, I do have followers from Sweden, by the way, that follow me on my podcast. Welcome. We are on section 4.1. Kind of continued on that before our quiz, and so we're going to get to that here in a bit. We will have some time in the middle that you can kind of fast forward, but before we do that, let's get it rolling. As we looked at this, one of the things that you're going to realize is that a lot of the stuff we do today is all dependent upon the definitions we talked about yesterday. So a lot of this should go pretty quickly, but these are the problems that you're going to find on your quiz. That's why today's such a big deal. All right, and that's why you're going to hear me on that. When you come in on Thursday, I'm going to give you some time to review, okay? So we'll do like a little review game beforehand, just so that we're all squared away. So just a heads up. But if you have major problems, come in the morning, and let's get those squared away, okay? What's due on Thursday?
4.1.
4.1. When is it technically due? Midnight. If you do it hard copy, then you could obviously turn it in class and go from there. Okay? Quiz is before that. That will be Thursday in class, all right? Okay, 300 degrees. What quadrant would that be in, Madeline? 4, right? Does anyone have any questions on that? Here's the deal. I'm going to go quick through this. If you do have a question, please stop me, okay? Remember, it is just shy of 360. What does this mean up here? This box is really a big deal. Why is that a big deal? Michael, I heard you first, my man. What's up?
Count the radians.
Yeah, we count the radians, right? Radians and why are they all equal? What does that mean?
So the totals.
Yeah, it's kind of the full circle around the unit circle, right? Also, what can I do with these if I have an angle and I want to use this? This is a tough question. I know, kind of a weird question. Where would I use this if I just gave you some angle, 30 degrees? And I said, you know what, I want to use 360 in this instance. What would we call that definition?
Coterminal.
Coterminal. It's kind of a weird question. I could have done better. I'm sorry. My fault. But if I had 30 and I added 360, right, what happens is I come back to where I started, right? We talked over that, and that's what we're referring to today, okay? 7 pi over 4. We're going quick. Preston.
4.
Why?
Because it's in the 4th quadrant.
That's right, yeah. So if I have my standard position and we rotate around, that'd be 7 pi over 4. What's one way that I could maybe help myself if I didn't know that? Like, let's say, because sometimes pi's are a little tougher to see. What could I do with that? Jack?
I second it went around like twice pretty much because it was 3 pi over 2. I just doubled it to get 6 pi over 2.
Ooh, yeah, that's actually pretty good. And then just kind of come there. Yeah, I like that. Madeline, you have something else? I like Jack's thought.
You could like relate the base, like okay, pi over 2. You could make the bases all 4.
Mm-hmm. All around, you're saying?
That's actually good.
Yeah, so I would multiply top and bottom by 2 and do that kind of top and bottom by 4. It's a great thought. I like that. Any other thoughts? Preston?
Oh, no, I had a question.
Shoot, go ahead.
Well, it is next, but like, can you explain the radians again when we come to it?
Absolutely. Really, and that's where I was going to head. If I needed to, I could convert this to radians by putting 1 in for pi. 3.14. Don't get confused with these two. This one, top and the bottom one, because they're really the same thing. The only difference is what do I plug in for pi?
1.
What is pi? What number?
3.14.
3.14, right? The only difference, they're still both radians. One's just a decimal, and the other one, here's the terminology, this is in radians in terms of pi. That's the only difference. So if you were to convert these, you would just simply put 3.14 in for pi, multiply by 7, divide by 4, and that's how you get a decimal. Okay? That's the only difference, all right? Only difference there. What about negative 2 pi over 3? Where's that at?
Quadrant 4.
Well, what do you think?
Quadrant 3.
Quadrant 3, you're rocking. Yeah, why would it be 3?
Well, if you know the pattern of radians, then you can just flip it going the other way.
I like that. I like always thinking of the positive, like Roll said. If I did, and this was an initial spot, and we go to 2 pi over 3, that's positive, right? But what does negative mean? Yeah, we go the other way, and now all of a sudden we're down here, right? And that's how we roll with that. Questions? Y'all are rocking. I like it. Hopefully you're keeping track of your team, seeing if you got all of them so far. Question 4, 680 is tough, right? We can't do 680. Do you know what we would have to do to hopefully simplify or allow us to maybe see it a little bit easier? We know on that? Michael, I saw you first.
You divide by 2, you get to a smaller number.
I don't know if I could divide by 2 to help me. What's that? Jay, you know? Good. Yeah, subtract by 360, right? If I did that, what would I get? 320. That helps me out a lot more. Why can I use 320 and say that it's the same as 680?
Because 320 and 680 are co-terminal.
Which means that they do what, Jackson?
They have the same terminal size.
Oh man, this is beautiful to my ears. I think I just shed a tear. That was pretty good. Okay, so that would be in what quadrant, Preston?
4.
Nice. We put it at the 4th quadrant, and we have my initial and my terminal side. Now, I haven't been putting the quadrants. I'm assuming we know the quadrants, right? And I think Claire helped us out with that, right? It's like a C. All right, perfect. Now, this is where Preston said that this was probably the toughest part. I tend to agree with them because it's something we really haven't talked about. But don't let it confuse you, okay? Don't let it confuse you. If you know the blue parts here, you should be Gucci, okay? All right? What about 3.2 radians? Where would that be?
Third,
Why?
because it's not 4.17, but it's not 3.14, it's more right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If I know these, just like Jeff said, I know that if it's positive, we're going to go somewhere down below. So that would be 3.2 radians. Nicely done. My initial and then my terminal side. Good. This is just a random question. What do we call an angle we don't know?
I know. Oh, you said it yesterday.
Theta.
Theta, right? Theta. Remember my son's middle name?
Yeah.
You remember that. Okay. -5 radians. How do we do that? Jack, do you have any thoughts on this? It's a little tough.
I just went around backwards like this negative.
Good. Good, and that's exactly right. Preston, did you get that? I know you were kind of saying you struggled on that.
No, I didn't get
If it was positive, do you have any questions on why the positive version would be between 4.71 and 6.28?
that. No, sir.
You got that.
Yes.
Do you understand why this is 6.28 and why this is 4.71?
It's like all the 6.28 divided by 4. That's the 4 quadrant.
Bingo. And you can always say 3 pi over 2, just plug 3.14 for pi.
Yes.
So 5 is somewhere here. But what does negative do? So positive would be counterclockwise, right?
Yes.
What does negative do?
Go counterclockwise.
There you are. So it's the same thing, except we're going backwards, and that's why it would fall in quadrant 1.
Oh,
Is that?
yes.
If not, let me know.
I got it.
Okay, right on. So we would go here, around, boom, there's our terminal side. And Jack's right, it'd be in quadrant 1, and he'd be exactly right. Okay? How many of you in your group got every one of them right? Every one of them right. So I got 3 people. Y'all got every one of them right?
They did
Raise your
not
hand. Raise your hand. I got you.
refuse to
Got you.
Wait.
All right. The ones that you got wrong. The ones that you got wrong. Those that didn't raise their hands. You know why you got it wrong.
got them all right? Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Sweet. That's coming in.
Preston, you get them all right?
Wait,
Sweet.
I don't.
Why you
The
I was just, no, I was just
radians.
Yeah.
Leave them alone.
Why would it be there?
I mean, I get it.
Leave them alone.
Remember, 3.14 is here, right? Because 3.14 is
Yeah.
pi.
Okay.
So 3.2 would just be just below it. Okay. I think. Here's the thing. I think what's going to trip us up, I could be wrong, is the radians, because those are a little different from previous years, right? We're adding that a little bit. Just don't get confused with that. It's the same thing as pi. It's the same thing, okay? Just plug in the number and go from there, all right? Preston?
For the quiz, do we have to have all the quadrants points memorized?
The quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yes.
Yes. Be sure of that. That's a big deal. So just remember, if you know top right is 1, and then just remember the C, 2, 3, and 4. Got me?
Yes.
So start with the top 1, and then just like a C, we go in that direction 2.
All I was talking about, like, do we have to have 270 memorized, 4.171, like,
I would say yes because of the fact that that shouldn't be too new for us,
Yes.
right? In fact, I actually messed something up. It actually should be what here? 2 pi. Yeah, I messed that up. But yeah, I think that those are ones that you should be good on. Really, the radians, you don't even have to know because you could just plug it in your calculator. and just saying 3.14 is pi, right?
Alright.
So it's really just the degrees and radians, or in terms of pi, that you got to really memorize.
Yes.
Okay. Questions? All right, we're gonna go to the next one. I know we're hitting the ground running, but I need to hit these few things really quick. Okay. All right. So question: if I said determine a coterminal angle here, okay, and I want one that is both positive and negative, could you do it? Okay, let's do this before I let you launch and go. Over on the 71 degrees, what would I do here?
Add 360,
Add 360 to get me what?
431.
Oh man, that's pretty good right there. Good, Jackson. And what would be the negative version of that?
Negative 289.
Okay, very good. Nicely done. So we would take 71, subtracting 360 to get negative 281. That are all three of these coterminal?
Yes.
Yes, because I just went backwards 360, right? Okay? Right, went backwards 360 there. That's a good touchdown dance next time. Just kind of, represent coterminal, Ty, and just kind of go like that, and then do the little.
I would laugh so hard.
If you do that, I'll
You'll
be.
give the whole class an A on the next quiz or test.
Yeah.
That would be pretty. I'll do so. I'll figure out something. I can't give an A,
Dude,
but I can do something. I can do something. I gotta think about it. Okay, I gotta think about it.
Right.
Do it now.
Yeah.
And then put the pi symbol out. You know?
You might throw it.
All right, the next one. Here's what I want you to do. With pi, it's a little different, right? Can't add 360, can't subtract 360. So what do we do?
Add 2 pi.
Add 2 pi, right? Okay? So we got to add and subtract 2 pi. So now we've got to get common denominators and attack it that way. Got me? I want you and your group, I'm going to give you about a minute, okay? Minute or probably 2 minutes. I want you to find positive and negative coterminal angle here and positive and negative coterminal angle with this one, right? Ready? 2 minutes. Go. Go. And if you're feeling really good, go down to number 5. See if you can attack that one too.
Alright.
Well, it'd be
We need to.
2 pi.
So
Be over
2
one.
pi.
So
So you need to add 2
both
pi
both
with
sides
the
by
2
3.
pi.
So that'd be 6 pi over 3. And add those two, that'd be 8 pi.
What's 2 pi?
2 pi
Yeah.
plus 2 pi.
Good stuff.
That's 4.
4 pi.
G.
2 plus 2 is 4.
So you're just doing the same thing.
Alright, he said
2
2
2
pi.
pi plus 2 pi is 4 pi.
And then, so I have to find the next, so add 6 pi. Right? Yes. Yeah, okay.
4
Yeah,
pi.
I get that.
4 pi.
So what did you do to get there?
And
Chef?
then, so we have to
How would you-
subtract. So subtract 6 pi.
We had 2 pi, right?
Would be
And what do I do in order? Hold up, you're right.
Wait, how?
How?
So we had 2 pi, right? Why 2 pi?
Yeah, negative
Because that's
4
the.
That's the
four
same
right,
as-
Yeah,
Right,
360.
saying it's the same thing.
pi.
But except now we're in terms of pi. But in order to add fractions, what do we have to have?
Oh,
Common
so it'd be.
denominators. Good, Ty. So what? If I put that here,
That'd
right?
be a 6, then you added 6 to 2, and that's 8.
So you just didn't say it.
If I did put a 3 here,
Yeah.
right? What do I do to the top
Multiply by 3.
to get me? To get me what total?
8 pi over 3.
Good. I know we just did that together.
Chad, you could have
fine.
explained it away.
Oh my god.
You should have said find the common denominator, so what you do on the bottom, you got to do on the top. That's the best way to do it.
So we got 1. We got to find the negative one though. Got to find the negative one on that.
I keep finding them in degrees. I can't do it.
Wait.
Michael.
5.
Yeah.
Wait, Coach J, add up to 180, add up to 360.
90.
90. Good. So complementary would be 2 that add up to be equal to 90. Supplementary 2 that add up to be equal to 180. Right. Also, if it's in terms of pi, 180 just is replaced with pi, and 90 is replaced with pi over 2. Good. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And then this one, I kind of wrote it funky, but this should be 10 pi over 7 if you want to try that one out too.
So you would, wait, what would you write for your answers? You're just trying to find what you would add to get it to 90.
Yeah.
So 90 minus
Jay, what'd you get for your second coterminal on that? 8 pi over 3 and...
Negative pi, or negative 4 pi.
Yep, that's good.
Oh, I got that.
Y'all talking like y'all not gonna learn. What are they talking about? focus.
It's do 90 minus 10.
Right now, y'all focus.
No, 180 minus 10.
Hey, Preston, Roll, and Madeline, are y'all good on this? These two?
Yes.
Good. Jack and Michael, y'all good on those two? We're good. Jackson, Harrison.
What do you add?
So this
On which one?
is 2 power.
Wait. Oh, this is for number 5.
Okay, gotcha.
So you subtract pi minus.
Yeah. So it's
We'll get to that one too.
32.
Hey, is everyone good on coterminal? Is everyone good on what to do with negative 127?
Yes.
Add and subtract 360, right? Everyone's good, I think, on that one because of what we just talked about. We're good? Okay? If you are good on number 5, you keep going, okay? But if you have some, does anyone have confusion on number 5? Just a little bit on anything? Yeah, I know, Ty, this is kind of new for you. Remember, complement or bless you is 2 angles that add up to be equal to 90 degrees, right? So if I have 32, the idea is we have 32 plus x equals 90. Our goal is to find what is that second angle, right? And to do that, what do we do with 32? Yeah, just subtract it. Good. And some of you don't have to show this, which is fine. You don't have to. And we go from there. Check.
I got the bottom.
Which one?
That's cap.
Good. Hold on to that. I'll come to you. Okay? I'm going to ask you what you think that is. Cool?
Your brain
All right? And Ty, what did you get for that?
Solve this.
What'd you ask?
What would x be there, or that missing?
68.
Close, 58. There you are. So we have 58 degrees. That's my complementary angle. And the only difference with supplementary is we exchange 90 degrees for 180. It's good. Did y'all rock those few?
For 10 power 7, you want us to do the
So you want those in radians too?
complement of
58 degrees.
Oh, no, you're good. If I give it to you in degrees, then are you on this one? I'm sorry.
Wait,
No, you're right here. Yeah, you can
Oh,
keep
wait.
it in degrees here. That's perfect. Now, over here, if I give it to you in radians, just make sure you give it to me in radians as well.
no. Okay.
Does that make sense? As long as you got that, I'm good to go on that part. All right, good. Yeah, how about 2 pi over 9? How are people doing on that one?
I have no idea.
We're good on that one or need some?
I got that.
Got that one?
I think I
Wait, is Preston, yeah?
Oh, no, I haven't tried it though.
Okay, I'll give a second. Alright.
What'd you do, man?
Again, a lot of problems today, but a lot of quick ones.
For 10 power over 7, do you want us converting? So that would that just be 2 over 9?
You could actually convert that, right?
No, that just be 2 over 9. Do you want us to do the complement supplement thing or find the coterminal?
Complement and supplement.
For 10 pi over 7.
So I just subtract pi. Would that be 2 over 9? Would that be my answer?
So you're going to subtract 2 pi over 9 from pi?
Oh,
Is that what you're saying?
I was thinking subtract 2 pi over 9. I meant pi from 2 pi over 9. Yeah. That is
If you did that, I think that would be, I think you said it backwards, but I think I know what you mean. Where it's this minus 2 pi over 9, right? When I do that, what would I get? The supplement or the complement?
the supplement.
Correct, because this is 180, right?
Correct.
But if I was doing the complement, what would I do over here instead of pi?
Pi over 2.
There you are. Good. That'd be the difference, right? Difference a little bit. The kicker is you got to hit common denominators.
Right.
So that's kind of the tough part about 2 pi over 9. Just make sure you do that, and then you can subtract and go.
Okay.
Okay? Hey, I will tell you right now, this right here will be on the quiz on Thursday, okay? Big deal. So you got to remember, supplements 180 or pi, and complements pi over 2 or 90 degrees. Big deal there, okay?
7 pi over 9.
No. Just adding what I think.
Yeah, what's up, Jack?
Yes.
So,
You use
why is
90,
it
90,
pi over 2?
The only difference is it's going to have a negative
It's
complement or
right,
supplement.
complementary because 90 degrees
No,
is pi over
do we have a complement or supplement?
Yeah.
So 7 pi over 9.
We
That's for.
don't. 10 pi over 7 is
So how
greater
would
than pi.
Just
Since it
multiply
is greater than pi, we don't have a
Just multiply that side by 2 and that side by 9.
Which the way you executed it was perfect. If you ever see a negative for both, you would just say, oh, I know that there's not
Minus
a complementary supplement in this case?
Alright,
That's a great question. That's really good. Okay, let's take a look at it. Preston, did you get 2 pi over 9 done?
I got supplementary, which is 7 pi over 9.
Good. Did everyone get 7 pi over 9 for supplementary?
Yes.
Does anyone not know? Jeff, are you good on that?
Yeah.
Good. Jeffrey, what'd you do for the complement of this?
I didn't get that.
For 2 pi over 9.
Yeah. How
I
would you?
didn't do it, but you
Okay.
just did the or add pi to it.
But how do you find a common?
Okay, so be careful, right? Co-terminal is 360, right?
Yeah.
That's different. Supplement and complement means I give you an angle and you try to find the second that corresponds to 90 degrees and 180 degrees, right?
Okay.
So as I look at this, I'm trying to get to 90 degrees. Is everyone good? Or pi over 2.
Sure.
I subtract what's been given, 2 pi over 9, and once I do that, I find what we call that? Complementary, because it's 90 degrees or pi over 2. Roll, are you good on that? Or- No? No, hey, I appreciate that. You're good. So is everyone good in determining that 2 pi over 9 is the angle that's been given, right?
Yeah.
We also know that I think everyone was good with 32 degrees. Roll, are you good with that? You were good? You remember that in that situation, we took 180 and we subtracted 32, right? And we took 90 and we subtracted 32 to get both of them, right? That was pretty simple. But when we do the radians, we exchange 90 degrees for pi over 2. And we exchange 180 for pi. That's the difference. It just looks funky. And then the execution is tough, right? Because now we've got to say what's the common denominator?
18.
18, right? So we multiply the bottom and top by
9.
9. Good. So that's 9 pi over 18. And what would be this one here?
2. Well, you multiply it by 2.
Multiply by 2, right? Both top
4 pi.
and bottom. And now we have 9 pi minus 4 pi on the top, which is
5 pi over 18.
5 pi over 18. That is our complementary. Okay. All right. Any questions on that?
It's not bad.
Roll, is that better?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so question, 10 pi over 7. Shay, I promised you this. Go ahead. Explain it to us. Be the teacher.
Wait, I did the co-terminal angle thing.
I think
I didn't do
Yeah,
the,
I did,
I didn't do the,
So you
I
had subtracted?
yeah, I didn't do the
I s- I-
supplement complement.
Okay, that's fair. Could we try something? Let me try something real quick because it's hard to see this. How would I convert this to degrees?
you
Was
would
5, 60.
I'm trying to listen to everyone. Go ahead, Harrison. What were you saying?
3.14 in the pi.
Ooh, okay, so that would be to radians, right?
Oh, right.
And that would be okay. That'd be okay.
You
And that's
do like
exactly
1
right.
over 1.
Wait, it's the what's it called?
You do
There's
That's
what's it called?
Roll.
There's a
That's
formula.
actually what I would do. I would turn into radians, and then I would do what is the cross multiplying thing
Yeah, that.
where you could.
There's a
put-
formula.
Yeah, well, there, you can do it straight from here, too.
This is our next thing for today. You ready? We're going to exchange this for degrees by multiplying by 180 over pi.
180,
that's
yeah.
what I did.
Okay? 180 over pi. You say, Coach, I don't remember whether it's pi over 180 or 180 over pi. The easiest thing to do is this. When I execute this, if the pi is on the top left and I'm going to degrees, make sure it's in the bottom right because I want to cancel that out. Okay? So we cancel. What's 10 times 180 divided by 7? Someone just throw that down in your calculator.
1,800 divided by 7.
Yep. Y'all are rocking.
257.14.
Oh, man, that's funky. 257.14. Someone explain to me what just happened with the complementary and supplementary.
I don't know.
It's too big.
Yeah.
Ooh, Michael, it's too
there-
big for what?
There aren't.
So there's none.
Yes, you're correct. You're correct. So look now, that's a ticket, both of y'all. As I look at this, if I took 90 and 180 and subtracted, we get a negative number. Jack actually did it earlier. And he said, Coach, there's a negative number. Can you have a negative complementary and supplementary? The answer is no. If you do that, I will haunt you. If you put that down as a negative number, supplementary and complementary, I will come to your house and I will haunt you. You will wake up and I will whisper in your ear. Okay? Don't do it.
Wait, after that's kind of weird.
I got creepy. I'm sorry. I got a little into that. All right? Just don't do it. All right? Can't have a negative complementary and supplementary. So if I had an angle that is greater than 180 degrees, can I have a complementary and supplementary?
No.
The answer is no. Good. All right. Questions on that?
But what if, what if it was 100 degrees?
Good question. 100 degrees? What could I have a complimentary?
No.
You could have a supplement.
I could, yes. No complement, but it does have a supplementary. Preston, what would be the supplement?
80.
80. Perfect. Okay? So if you get that, just a heads up before we go. Okay? All right? Are y'all good? I want you to do something. I want you to just stand up. Just kind of stretch out a little bit because we really put a lot in there.
I can't do that.
Put a lot in. I like it. Does anyone know where this picture's from?
I just
The
did
Final
Timbo
Four.
squats this morning.
Like, a few years ago.
Yeah, in the Georgia Dome. Gotta love
I'm
that.
too sore, man.
Fun times.
Yeah, my leg is sore.
I just did Timbo squats this morning.
You can't get out. For what? I wasn't going to get either one of y'all.
Okay. Hey, I want to make sure I take care of something real quick. If I hear one more time, where's the bread aisle for me again? I promise you, I'm gonna be a little upset. Okay? Everyone thinks I'm a program manager or Publix manager. I'm a little salty about it.
Who said it?
Just everyone. Like people will come up. Where's the bread aisle?
Oh man.
I think I'm missing
That's a
one
good
thing.
one.
Hold on. Hold on.
No, you have a. Oh.
Name tag.
Oh, I thought it was.
Were you ever a Publix or program manager?
Was I? No. The only jobs I've ever had is teaching, and this is weird. I umpired.
No, yeah.
I umpired. I had a hard time. If they were older and taller, this is not funny, but it is funny. I had a hard time sometimes seeing the strike zone. So I would do a lot of the kids battling. That's not funny. That's real. She started laughing at me. She laughed in my face. But I'm just trying to be real. Trying to be real right now. But that was my job. I've thrown out 2 people in since I've umpired.
Did you still umpire?
Good. I don't have time anymore. But I used to. Like I went to Cooperstown and I love doing it. It's fun. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. I want to tell you why this next part. I understand the reason why we're stretching. A lot of times we just need to get it out. Y'all are extremely interactive. I love that. I recognize a lot of times I don't like days where I just all we do is teach and go, and that I feel like that's one of these days because of the fact with retreat and stuff we're a little bit behind. That's why. Okay. We're going to exchange that. We will, when we come in Thursday, have a time to hopefully debrief for the first 20, 25 minutes or so and really do like a review game. And I think you'll enjoy that on Thursday before the quiz, all right? Don't rely upon that. But, again, that will be a help that's there. Roland, do you have a question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Can I please text Chad back right quick?
Go ahead. Thank you for asking. All right, so with that being said, we pretty much already discussed everything here in terms of what we're going to go through, okay? You'll notice that there's a lot of problems today. Most of these are stuff that you've either done before or we talked about yesterday, okay? So before I get going and keep going forward, is there anything that we've done so far that you say, Coach, I'm struggling on, or we need to re-hit? Is there anything that we need to just redo? Okay. Now, the next part, all we're doing is this. Everything is pretty much the same. I just need to teach you how to go from radians to degrees to pi. Okay? That's all. Just those 3. Okay? First thing is this. How do I convert from pi to radians? I know we already know, but if I had 3 pi over 5, Harrison, what would I do to change that to radians?
180 over 5. Wait, no, you changed the pi to 3.4.
Good. So if I said just change this to in terms of radians, regular radians would be 3 times 3.14 divided by 5. Okay? And that's it. That's all we would do. Okay? Put 3.14 in for pi. Now, if we went from 3 pi over 5 to degrees, what would I do with this one? How would I multiply this by?
180 over 5.
Good. 180 over pi. So when I go to pi, okay, when I go to pi, I am going to multiply by pi over 180. Okay? Multiply by pi over 180. If I go to degrees, what do I multiply by?
180 over 5.
There you are, 180 over pi. It's just the flipped version of it, okay? Flipped version of that. And that's how we would attack it, okay? What would cancel up here? Pi is good, and we multiply 3 times 180. Divided by 5, and we'd be good to go, okay? Questions? We're good? Okay, I'm going to hit the ground running. And let's see if we can actually do this. Sorry, that's hard to see. My fault there, but we'll keep going. Negative 4 pi we're going to convert that to degrees. Someone take it over for me. Go ahead, roll.
Like,
Do it.
Right, teach us.
Pioneer. Well, you missed a loop in the back. I'll whisper it to you.
Is that an infraction? You missed
what do you mean?
I was trying to help him out so he doesn't like walk around.
Did he say, please give me an infraction?
Yeah. That's all advice to me.
Something.
All
Over.
right.
1
Speaker moment.
I
times
love asking.
180
Yeah.
over 5.
Good. I'm going to do this.
These cancel out.
Do this right now with someone around you. Do 2 pi over 3 real quick. Just to make sure.
Do it.
Convert that to radians, or to radians and degrees. Radians and degrees. Attaboy. Great job. Nice job. Good. Good, good. Nice.
Can I convert it to
Good. I
radians?
got you a ticket right there too. Will.
Can I convert it to radians?
Come on. We got Preston coming in. Convert to radians here.
Hey, that's not the nice thing to say. I was gonna say you're
It's true.
Whoa.
That's one guy not true. Hey, we don't say that.
That
either.
ain't true.
Coach Johnson is
What's that?
the nicest person to me in this room.
Have you ever called somebody out of class?
Oh yeah.
I gave
Last year.
I gave Preston a hug this week.
I would not have accepted.
I was like, no.
You did.
It has to be pretty bad.
Just all the follow.
It was pretty disrespectful.
What they do.
I forgot what I'm
they
doing.
they kind of showed me out in class, and I just calmly said, "You need to get out." That's all I said. They just being disrespectful out loud. And they were disrespecting other people.
I had it written down.
They had it was a reason why.
Ah.
Hey, as you keep going again, y'all are rocking here.
I know. You got it, Pete.
All right.
You got this.
Here we go.
That's right, right?
Where did you get that number?
Oh, I see what you did. I see what you
3.14 times 2 is 6.28, and then divided by
did.
3.
It's 2.04. There's one thing he's missing.
Yeah.
2.04.
Yeah, I mean, that's enough.
Other than tucking his shirt in, 2.04 radians, right?
Oh, you have to write the word radian?
Yeah,
Well, isn't it?
That way we know.
Isn't it 2.1?
Yeah.
Is it 2.1?
Yeah.
Wait, would you like?
It's
give us a
2.09.
grade?
2.09. If you put 2.1, I'm good. Okay,
Right,
I'm
Would
good
you
on
rather
it.
2.9 or
Point is
do you rather 2.1?
2.0, either one works for me. Just as long as you, if you do the first or second decimal, I'm fine with that. Okay. Good, Preston. Do you have that? All right, here we go. So, any questions on converting here?
I thought we were doing it to degrees.
You could do that. That's fine. I told Preston to do the radian one, but if you did it to degrees, you should have done 2 pi over 3 times 180 over pi, and once you canceled out there, you should have gotten 120 degrees. Okay. Check.
I'll just explain it next.
Yeah, could you just talk me through this one? I'm going to write it up here. You could write it up here in a second on another one. The reason why is this one does get a little tricky on this, and I want to make sure we're good. If I had 2.03 rate or just 2.3 radians, a little tougher, convert it to degrees. All right?
Oh, that's the next one?
Go to degrees. So when we go to degrees, it's the same thing, right? Che, what would we multiply by?
I'm not sure.
What would we multiply up here in order to go to degrees?
180 over pi.
180 over pi. Let's keep it the same. You're going to notice something, though. Instead of pi, what do we put in for the bottom?
3.14.
Because 3.14 radians is the same as pi, is it not? That's the only difference, okay? All right?
So how are we getting it back? We're converting this to
Degrees. So what happens to the radians?
So do you
Oh,
think
so
one
this
degree
is
is not
oh
180?
shoot.
So 2.3 times 180 divided by 3.14 or pi gets me what?
131.8.
131.8 degrees, and that's how we attack. Okay.
I burst.
And then
into that
to get into,
2.3, I can't.
In terms of
I am your father, boy.
Yeah.
Is that 2.3 or 23?
2.3.
2.3. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so question, because I'm going to need to go to one more slide. There might be one small thing I'll hit on before we review tomorrow or on Thursday. 310 and 720. Are we good on that? What do we multiply both of those by?
180.
Or pi over
Pi over 180, right? Remember, if degrees is on the top, we go to radians. Degrees has to be on the bottom when we convert. Okay? It's got to be opposite. Just remember that. Preston?
720, but you make it more simple and just subtract it by 360.
Can I do that? Excuse me. Can I do that? Can I make it coterminal before I convert? Yes. Yes, I can. Because 720, when I subtract 360, what am I doing? It's the same thing, right? Over and over again. I'm not going to keep going, okay? But that would be the same, all right? Perfect. Okay, on a calculator, does everyone know how to do that on a calculator?
Do it.
What we just did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty simple, right? Okay, so you've got that. The only other thing that I want to hit on, really two quick things, is we have this thing called S over R equals theta. If you've got something, just write it down real quick, okay? It's a simple formula that we take that represents this. Theta is an angle that's on the inside. We call that a central angle because it's with the circle, right? We talked about that yesterday. The S is my arc length. You want to write that down. S is arc length. Angle is theta, and R is my what? Radius, okay? So what I'm going to do is on either a quiz or on the test or the test, I'm going to give you two of these things, and you got to tell me the third, okay? So, for instance, if I say that there's a central angle with a radius of 8 feet that has a central angle of 12 degrees, that's my fault, what we can do is simply plug S over R equals theta in and solve it and attack it accordingly, okay? I'm going to hit on that really quick before the next class on Thursday. Have a great day. We'll see y'all.
Well, let's see on Twitter.
This right here,
Yeah.
this will be. If you want to, Preston, coming in on Thursday, we'll hit on it. I'm not worried about it because you'll get the formula. If you just remind me, you'll get the formula there, and it's just simply plugging it in and going. It's not tough.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Can I have a homework sheet?
Yes, you can. I've got them on the bottom. Right.
Coach Johnson. There's a lot of times
Sometimes people slip up at the beginning. Not often. Not
I
often.
kind of just like slip like I read through and then I like the ones that like they're like this. So it was like this close
Dr.
to it,
Coach.
it just tells you.
See y'all. Have a good day.
So I don't got no question.
I don't know if you did like
Bro, you didn't say live and high.
Travis said he's coming to the meeting.
Fantastic. Would you be okay if we canceled
Yeah.
That's all I need. I'm just going to cancel it then. Is that a...
I'm trying to get more and more people. I'm sending it to that Google Calendar. Did you see it? I mean,
Yeah.
so it does the same exact. Like people just use it for a calendar,
Okay.
like the Spirit
I,
app.
I think that's smart. I think that's perfect. Ty, I'm pumped you're here, man. I'm pumped you're here.
All I gotta do is the 360 when I score.
That's it. Yeah. We'll figure something out. Maybe we can. We'll figure something out on that. That was a pretty good catch, though, man. That was pretty sweet. Have a good day.
You too.
What's up, Wayne? Can I say you absolutely rocked that quiz?
Oh,
Did you see your score?
no.
You got a 100 on it, which I graded tough on purpose just to make sure that we're up to standard there. You rocked it. You absolutely rocked it there. Good morning, Ryan. Y'all's Tuesday starting well. What's up here? What's up, Rita? Jared, what's up, dude?
Well, good
Hey, I
shit.
apologize if I gave you undue stress yesterday. Did you
It's
see what
fine.
happened?
I saw it this morning.
I did an admin referral.
Oh no, I didn't notice that.
So sorry. So I hope.
Admin like pulled me out of class immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well,
I just didn't have a belt.
didn't have a belt, so I just put it down. And Mr. Wilson,
He like emailed you or something.
he's like, "Did you mean to do that?" I was like, "No, like, no, not at all, not
He
at all."
calls me to the office. Did you mean to give him? He didn't have his belt.
It's funny because the default option is an admin referral.
That's weird.
I'm like, wow, an admin referral. But
I
was
saw it
glad-
this morning though that I got the infraction. Well, I
Yeah,
didn't,
I'm
I didn't
so-
realize I had an admin referral.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I didn't mean to do that.
It's
I did not
okay.
mean to do that.
Can I like move to a desk? Cause this is not really comfortable.
That's perfect. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. If that's something, or if you,
Like there's
Um,
like no space.
I understand completely. Go right ahead.
You just don't like your group.
What?
They said you just don't like your group, huh?
Thanks for asking me. Appreciate it.
No, they're more than two.
Hey, as y'all come in, do y'all remember we were doing this the other day?
Yes.
If you could hop on this, and then I'm gonna explain some stuff. Cool.
You took a
Also,
picture.
I'm going to say again.
No, it's not gonna Josh. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, and so I'll give you a couple minutes. When I hand out the quizzes from the summer stuff, don't stress. I'm gonna explain. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I did not do so hot on that.
There's a reason. Not a lot of people did. That's
Fine.
okay. I'm gonna give you time to check it. Correct it. You're gonna correct it.
Are you available tomorrow morning before the quiz?
Yeah.
Okay. Like what time? 7:45, 8?
30.
30? Okay.
7:30 to 8:20.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
We'll
can
talk through it.
Huh?
All right, let's get it rolling. Again, in your groups, go ahead and get started with what we're asking.
Yeah. There's like no space. So Shay, can I go to the bookshop?
You make a lot.
Thank you.
Why?
You're late.
Yeah, late. Thank you. Yeah, I knew context was gonna be messed out.
It was, I was hard on purpose.
Do we have to pay for our textbook or post it?
No, you do not.
Oh, I just
Oh, you said we need a hard copy.
Yeah, today.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you.
I mean, I was like,
I don't know. Being on the road.
Gotcha. Yeah, if you want to, go
Yeah.
ahead. And you can also print those off too. That's fine. Go with
Yeah,
it.
Coach Jay.
I just try to save paper because if I did it for everybody, it would just be a lot. Feel free to print those off.
Yeah, I wanna switch it. I got 72. Or like
Okay, yeah.
8.5 and 12.
It has like questions.
Yeah.
Make sure it didn't. Is it good?
Well, yeah, obviously it's gonna be the same, Josh. We,
Here. Your notes are awesome, by the way. Some of y'all have the neatest handwriting I've seen.
oh, I don't. Sorry, Coach Jay.
It's alright, Jared. I got you.
I've heard that from every teacher I've ever had.
I understand.
I have one of the worst handwritings I've ever seen.
Sometimes you just can't. Just do your thing. I'm gonna give you about a couple more minutes here, and then we're gonna get going.
Ivana's probably gonna be late because she's in pack.
Gotcha. That's fine. Perfect. Thank you. Was she here this morning? Do you know?
I'm really sitting down with that. See?
You know how
That's fine.
my friends know we got to work against what, so like, you know, like textbook markers start flipping them and thing.
It's easier to link. Like I can't even link to this one to stand up now. That's definitely not good. I can't even get it to stand, Josh. I'm not even.
Sorry for being late.
Oh.
He won't write you a pass.
No.
Really?
Like I literally stayed to talk to him because he was like, "Are you okay today?" And I was like,
I'm not okay.
Wait, who?
"Kenny."
Kenny T.
Do this. If you need to go talk with him later on, go right. I mean, you probably already did.
I tried. It is what it is.
There's no rush. Oh, is there no rush period at the same time?
All right, keep going. I'm going to give you a couple minutes here. About a minute or two left, and we'll rock. Rock and roll.
We just got a quiz back. Nobody, we're here.
7:30, about 8:20.
But
What are we doing for?
The thing you did for them yesterday.
oh, so we basically finished.
We didn't do C.
One we did at the end of class.
I did it.
Yeah, you did. I don't think so.
It would be misleading because
Oh, never mind.
Some of you may have finished it, and that's fine.
I mean, I might
I think
have
we
gotten
did.
it all right, but like, it is what it is.
It's done.
It's okay. This is the first time doing one of these. It's a little different.
Yeah, like A. They're talking about it's like the center of this.
Okay. Is everyone done? I'm kind of gauging. Is anyone still working? Y'all still working, Ryan? Claudia, y'all done? I love it. I love it. Okay, hey, real quick. Hey, could I get your attention? I've got a lot to get to, and in a very short period, we are going to kind of rock and roll today. I'll be honest. What you need to know, remember tomorrow, I will have a study session tomorrow morning, starting at 7:30, about 8:20 if you need that. Remember the quiz is over 1-1 and 1-2. So again, kind of look at that and go through that. Now, as far as the summer assignments go, you probably looked at your grade and thought, man, Coach Jay's mean. Here's the deal, okay? I could either do it now or we could wait till halfway through the semester to kind of set the expectation. Got me? I will tell you that everything I do is built on trying to get you ready for this, okay? So you're going to see that some of the stuff, the expectations that are set are really from the AP that I kind of just take in my class, okay? So here's the thing. This was the first time you've done this. First time. So I'm going to allow you to, tomorrow, in a 24-hour window, to turn it into me tomorrow and redo your the corrections that are there. Most of them are, you had the right idea, you just forgot context every time, okay? And I took it off every time because I want you to know like how big of a deal that is, all right? Some of you, it was like extremely neat and it looks so good. You got like a 7 out of 12, and that's maybe frustrating. It has nothing to do with the fact that you maybe don't understand it. It's just trying to get where the expectation is there, okay? Also, if I ever say describe something, remember socks, okay? That's really a huge thing that a lot of people forgot. And if you have questions on that, come in the morning, and we'll even do them together if that need be there. And then we'll rock and roll. Questions on that? When you look at it, does everyone kind of understand where you got points counted off on? I try to put little notes there. But if you do have confusion, just come and see me, and we'll be pretty good there. Grace?
So if you're gonna redo it, do you just want us to do the ones that we got wrong or all of them?
Yeah, great question. Just the ones you got wrong. And when you correct it, use the same quiz. If you need some more room, you can put it on there. But if you could use a different color than what either I used or you used, and that way I can go through and say, oh, I see Ryan was on this number trying to correct it. And that way I can go through and give those points back accordingly. Just to give you a heads up as well, I will give you the points all the way up to 11 out of 12. Okay? That'll be what I'll do. The reason why is there were some people that rocked it the first time, and they earned that 12 out of 12, or even some got 13 out of 12, all right? So I'm going to give you the 11 out of 12. If you did section 1.3 quiz, then that will bump you up that +1 to 12 out of 12. Does that make sense? So that's just a heads up so there's no confusion, and we'll attack it that way. Cool, Ryan?
Can we write it on a separate sheet of paper and then staple it together? Just write it in a different color.
That's perfect, yeah. Just as long as you label it, I'm good with that, as long as I can follow it. Okay? Cool. We got that. Textbooks, some of you I've talked with, we're good there. Resubmit, remember it's due tomorrow. Just make sure you have that in. And I think that is it there. How do we feel on this? Do we feel pretty good? All right, we're going to see how we did on this. I'm going to actually give you a grade. I had a podcast from the last class that I'm going to try to get here. Sorry. And we'll rock and roll. Here's a question real quick as I save this